So moving on to this next topic. So the last month, well, was it last month? It was actually kind of the last 2 months. We've been talking about a lot of different things. So originally Paramount made an offer to Warner Bros. To buy them out. And we didn't really hear anything from that. I believe it got declined anyways. During last month, we didn't really talk about it, but we what we did talk about was Netflix was interested in buying Paramount, Warner Bros. And Apple was interested in buying Warner Bros. Like everyone besides Disney, I think, is interested in buying Warner Bros. And it's funny, people are wondering why is Paramount and all these other companies interested in buying Warner Bros. Hear me out. So when originally Warner Bros. Was owned by AT&T,
Yeah,
they bought it for $108 billion dollars.
like
That's
some crazy, yeah.
yeah, that's what Warner Bros. Costs. When when they took the studio, shoved it into the ground, stomped it, and squished its head like it's a watermelon, like it was from Halloween. Killed the thing. It's dying on the ground. You have David Slavslev coming in, buying it for the worth of $45 billion dollars. The company was worth $108 billion dollars, and David Slavslev bought it for $45 billion dollars. And since then, in the 5 year process of David Slavslev, doing all these weird things, sometimes they were outrageous things that people weren't going to agree with them, but they were mostly the right choices. I didn't always agree with some of them because some of them were kind of iffy. Like I will 100% agree that it was dumb to change the name HBO Max to Max and exchange it back to that. That was stupid. But not everything worked in his favor. But in that 5 years, for the 5 years time span, he brought the company back to being worth $75 billion dollars. And that's why people are interested in buying the company. And not only that, Paramount made Warner Bros. An interesting offer. They, the guy that is running Paramount, which I forget his actual name, he offered David Zaslav to be co-CEO with Paramount if they merge. That's how a big of improvement that this guy has done with Warner Bros. And in general, this year, Warner Bros. Is probably the most profitable studio of the year. Like all their films were profitable. Like you had Weapons that did was a massive hit for them. You had Sinners that was a massive hit for them. You had Superman that was su successful. It was. It was. People don't want to admit it, but it was. Um, the only actual flop for them was one battle after another. That was the only movie that kind of flopped for them. But one, the marketing for that film wasn't that great, and it's a kind of a political thriller, so it's kind of like it with the times. It wasn't really going to do well either way. But it still made some money. So either way, Warner Bros. I I believe if I could find the exact number, there's they are the most successful company, probably besides Disney and Universal. They have made a lot of money this year. So why wouldn't anyone be interested in buying Warner Bros? Would my choice be to still keep it on its own? Yeah. But unfortunately, the thing is, even with the success, Warner Bros. Does need to be bought by someone. But it's just crazy that Paramount's going this hard to buy them. That's what I find fascinating. Paramount's like the ones like
Yeah.
because they Paramount offer like has made three offers to Warner Bros. And most of them have been declined. But the one that probably piqued their interest was the David Slavsev co-CEO merger part. But yeah, I do think it would either be better for Comcast Universal to own Warner Bros. Or Apple. because most likely what between those two, they would keep Warner Bros. As their own studio, just under their just under their umbrella. I think that's what they would do. But Paramount would just kind of just phase into Warner Bros. And kind of just become one big studio, unlike what Disney does with 20th Century Fox or 20th Century Studios and Searchlight. And the last option should be definitely Netflix. Netflix should not be buying Warner Bros. Because that would destroy the film industry.
Yeah,
They
it
would
wouldn't.
they would just make everything go on to Netflix, and they wouldn't release things in theaters anymore. And so yeah,
Yeah.
like what is your thoughts on all of this?
So here's the thing, AT&T, the whole, I was reading while you were chatting, I was reading it. So like
Yeah.
just to kind of give, so kind of kind of bring it up to speed. Um, so in October of 2016, AT&T announced a deal to buy Time Warner for 108.7 billion in an effort to increase its media holdings. So AT&T wanted to kind of build into that DVR streaming, all that stuff.
Hmm.
Warner Bros was a part of that Time Warner deal.
Yeah.
So then, 108.7 billion. $85 billion of that was actually purchasing. The other 20 billion more or less was taking on debt for a total of 108.7 billion. Now, just a year earlier than that, AT&T purchased DirecTV for $48.5 billion. So you think in less than 2 years, they spent $150 billion on Time Warner and DirecTV.
Yeah, and DirecTV is
Oh
already on
gosh.
its way out the door.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I mean, you think now Netflix is like, you know, kind of taking off at this point. Anyway, so now kind of flash forward, July 13th, 2017, it's reported that AT&T would introduce a cloud-based DVR service. It would help unify DirecTV and DirecTV Now with Uverse. The service name HBO Max launched in May of 2020. So now it's COVID. They're being forced to launch their own kind of streaming service.
Yeah.
So they launched HBO Max. Da, 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 da. Move forward, flash forward a little bit more.
I think what
Uh,
with any merger that will happen, I think the only thing that will stick on its own will be HBO Max. I think HBO Max will always be its own thing, unless the only one that won't be that is Netflix buying it, because then Netflix would just want HBO Max to be on their platform, because having HBO and all that would be good for them. But the only one that, but I just wanted to mention that I think the only thing that will stick on its own would be HBO Max if Warner Bros. Gets bought out by any studio as well.
yeah, I mean, here's the interesting thing. Now, what's fascinating is this is actually fascinating too, is the person who bought into AT&T stock. So in September of 2019, activist investor Elliott Management revealed that he had purchased $3.2 billion of AT&T stock, so about 1.2% of the company, and had pushed for the company to divest assets to improve its share value, to basically get rid of the stuff that was not worthwhile. So in this case, I would imagine that the Time Warner, all that crap
Yeah.
was bad. This Elliott Management is the same company that bought Southwest Airlines stock and encouraged them to charge for bags and do charge seating. So that same company that invested in Southwest Airlines, that like really pushed for the CEO to make changes and did the same thing to AT&T 6 years ago. So common theme here is this management company buys a pretty sizable portion of a stock,
Yeah.
writes letters to this board or to the board of the share. or
The
to this
shareholders. Yeah.
yeah, well, to the board of this company and says, hey, these changes need to take place so the stock's worth more money, quick in and out, basically. And usually that happens because now we see, in April of 2020, the CEO of AT&T retires, or, and then it's acknowledged that the acquisitions of DirecTV and Time Warner resulted in a massive debt burden of $200 billion. Yikes. Um, Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment ultimately abandoned due to COVID. Um,
Well, next
and then,
they made the dumb decision. This is what hurt AT&T's version of Warner Bros. Is throwing first day's release on streaming, like their movies. And it's like this was the dumbest decision that they did. It's like same day in theaters and on streaming. It's like who's gonna go out and watch it in theaters, pay 15
you
bucks
wouldn't.
when they could pay the
Well,
one.
and then all that video game crap where they said they were going to do DC Comics and Lego Star Wars and Harry Potter,
You
and
know,
then they
I'm
scrapped all that.
yeah, I'm looking for that Lego Batman game. Did you see that game? Like the trailer for that?
Oh, I did actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
looks
I
like a
mean,
ton of fun.
yeah. Um, so anyway, um, so Crunchyroll was sold for 1.175 million. Da, 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 da. They announced DirecTV and Uverse would spin off into a different entity. They
Hmm.
sold a 30% stake, and then did a 70% stake into its own standalone company. So they basically separated it. You see a separation of stock. So now AT&T like is its own stock. I don't know if you
Yeah,
saw that. And then, Discovery is its own to establish its own, media company.
yeah.
Um,
I wonder if
so
this means if they, well, if any studio buys Warner Bros., does that mean they get Discovery as well? Or does Discovery
well, it
loses Warner Bros. And X Discovery becomes its own thing again?
well, it was a merger, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
So if it was a merger, if they purchased the entire company, so it depends. Is it an acquisition? If a company acquires it, then Warner Bros. Discovery was completed in 2022.
Yeah.
So if they acquire, then they would acquire Warner Bros. Discovery
Yeah.
because that's the company. But if it's a merger, one company may absorb the other. It may be like two,
I think they're trying to get
like,
rid of Discovery anyways, because Discovery is just not profitable at the moment. And so,
mm,
but this is just a whole entire.
well, most of Warner Bros. Movies this year were very profitable,
Well, no,
were
I'm
they
talking about
not?
I'm talking about Discovery alone. Like
Oh, got it.
because the Discovery
Okay.
has like all the cooking shows and all that stuff,
Oh,
the cooking
Animal
channels.
Planet. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there's a perspective of like, what does it bring? And it may not bring in the money, but they definitely have some great shows on Discovery. It's
Mm,
just, is that what people are going to pay money for?
no.
Maybe, maybe not.
Well,
But
that's why they got rid of Discovery on HBO Max because no one was watching it.
yeah. Um, But it
Like,
looks like on July 2nd, AT&T and TPG Capital closed the sale of the remaining 70% stake in DirecTV.
yeah.
So I don't know if they sold the rest of DirecTV now and that's it. I
I thought
I'd be
DirecTV
interested
was
to see.
dead.
That makes two of us. I didn't even know people still had that.
I thought like maybe like one person owned it, had it, and that was like the CEO of the company. It's like I'm enjoying all my channel, guys. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what do you think? We're both on the same page that Warner Bros. Will be bought at no matter what at this point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I
it.
mean,
I don't see
it-
anywhere going else for them, even with the massive success that they had this year, with the profit of each film that they've been making from, and the resurrection in the DC universe and all that. I don't like there is no they still need to be they still need the extra cash, and I think no matter what, Warner Bros. Will be bought out. So it just comes down to really who. And Paramount, I don't see. I think aren't they still struggling from their own debts that they got going on? So taking on Warner Bros. Debt, I don't. Is that really a smart idea?
Well, I mean, there could be good and bad debt, right? Like if you have a company with a bunch of cash, it may not be a bad thing because sometimes the method, if it's, for instance, Apple, I'm just using Apple as an example. Let's say Warner Bros. Is a great method for Apple because it has,
Well, Apple could easily take their debt.
well, yeah, I'm not, Apple's probably not a good example because they already have a streaming platform and method to disperse.
Well,
Um, but let's,
Apple would keep HBO Max either way.
Sure. But let's just say Apple didn't have their own streaming service, but they had a bunch of their devices, right?
Yeah,
Um, this would be an excellent opportunity to buy something where even though it's not profitable, it already has it has the infrastructure that they would need to basically just plug and play
yeah.
Apple's stuff, right? And so, even though they'd be taking on debt, it may be cheaper to take on the debt than it would be to develop
Your own
an
streaming service.
entirely new, yeah, an entirely new system, right?
I mean,
It
I
just
think
it's
if
dependent.
Apple could just honestly, because I think HBO Max is way bigger than Apple's own streaming service, so they could easily just put Apple's stuff onto HBO Max if they really wanted to. And at the moment, from what I believe I just saw, HBO Max just raised their prices, their monthly prices up. So it clearly HBO Max isn't really that profitable, at least at the moment, if they're raising
Sure.
prices. So bringing something like Apple stuff over would definitely benefit them in so many different ways. And
Well, I mean, raising prices doesn't necessarily mean they're not profitable. It may just mean that they've done research and they figured out that they figured out that they're able
yeah,
to charge a higher price.
they just raised them though. They raised them like almost a year ago.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So.
A yearly change in price sounds about accurate. I mean, that's what we're seeing. That's what car insurance does. Yearly basis. That's what my, insurance does. So, um, yeah, that's
uh,
what health insurance, car insurance,
Well, I mean,
most subscription services,
unlike
food,
Xbox,
everything usually.
Xbox takes the king of raising prices. They did it 3 times this year.
I did see that. I
Well,
actually just had this
we'll talk about
I
it,
had this
but
conversation with somebody,
yeah,
but yeah, no, I would just say, it whoever ends up buying them, whether they merge, get acquired,
I think you said
partner,
this last time you would want Apple to do it,
I just think
or
that
is your thought, or has your thought has changed on that?
Apple just needs more content, and
Hmm.
I think HBO and Apple together would just be incredible. Like HBO makes some really great shows. They're not
Yeah.
necessarily my flavor, so to speak, of shows, but
Well, they make
H
they make look great looking shows, but lately the quality
correct.
of the stories haven't been there. And so,
Correct. But Apple makes incredible story shows,
yeah.
I think. So imagine Apple's storytelling with HBO's production value. I mean, you're talking, I, I don't
Oh,
know. I
you're
just think
talking
that,
about what HBO used to be. That's what you're talking about.
yeah,
And so,
and I genuinely think it's like Apple has this weird, let's keep all this cash mindset. And I get it, like, don't spend money, whatever.
yeah.
Um, I I don't understand. Apple needs to spend money and develop shows and content. Um, I don't know. I get that we can't all be Netflix coming out with new shows every week, but I'll go look on Apple TV and I'm like, there
And
hasn't been a new show out in forever. And watching that family vacation movie
that's
where they're
awful.
coming out with a second one in December, why? I don't get it.
I don't
Mark
know
Wahlberg
who
is not funny.
I don't know who watched that.
I watched it like four times. Just kidding.
Uh,
No, I didn't.
you're the
So
reason why they
no.
made it for you. You're like they're like I oh someone watched it 4 times. Oh, it's Carson Moore. All right. Let's make it
I
150
gotta
million dollars.
let's give Mark Wahlberg another gig.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's
that
he's not he you know he's not gonna make an Uncharted sequel anytime soon. Uh,
oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
yeah.
So but yeah, we'll see. I mean, no, but no,
I
I think Apple would be a fun one to see purchased it.
I
Not from a
think
perspective that they need the streaming, but just from
uh,
content.
yeah. I think Apple would be a good choice. I just hope if Apple does end up buying it, I want them to keep Warner Bros. Doing what Warner Bros. Is doing, just and also don't really change anything from the theatrical perspective. Like keep it like at that 45 to 60 day release window, and also physical media. Because that's the problem with Apple. It's just
Physical media,
physical media. This is like that's the problem with going with either Netflix or Apple. They will make it just streaming only. And it's like I don't want that. I like to have my choices and my options. And so people want to say that dictatorship is bad. Well, hey, guess what? That's what Netflix and Apple is. They will dictate what you will watch. Just funny thing is how I'm really offending a lot of people right now. Moving on, but yeah, let us know your guys' thoughts in this comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to see the full-on podcast, I'll leave a link in the description below. And you guys can also check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. And if you guys want to, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the topics as well. So leave a comment on it. And if you guys are new to the channel and you guys enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button because we have a lot of other stuff on the channel. As a reminder, this is a monthly upload on the Big Talk with Austin, and this will also give you guys the opportunity to submit some topics to us that happen throughout the month. So if you guys want to do that, go check me out on Twitter and follow me there. Tag me whenever something interesting pops up that is movie reviews, movie TV shows, any like pop culture related type of stuff. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.